Pooja, the level of allegations, the number of allegations leveled against the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi for framing this liquor policy arbitrarily in such a way where they receive kickbacks and commissions post the tender being allotted. All the other accused in the case who've been arrested, all of them have maintained before the CBI that it was on Manish Sisodia's behest that we have acted. We have acted on the orders of the Deputy Chief Minister, Manish Sisodia. But while the same questions are presented to Sisodia during interrogation, even yesterday, we believe that he said, I don't know, to most of the questions that were presented before him.
This is getting very interesting, Nabila, because what Manish Sisodia's lawyers are saying is that how can this be a ground of remand custody, that because Manish Sisodia did not confess or did not say what the CBI officers wanted to say, so let's go and get him arrested and want extended custody. They are hitting back at the CBI very clearly, and I want to quote what the lawyers have said, that they are saying that he's concealing.
All right. We're going to try and patch Pooja's connection there, but one should know that right now in court, the CBI, of course, they're pushing for at least 5-day custody of Manish Sisodia, claiming that he's been very evasive on the number of questions that were presented to him. He's not been answering properly. We want to conduct further investigation, and we are worried that if Manish Sisodia is not in custody, he could be well enough in the power to try and tamper with evidence. This is more or less the argument that the CBI has in court. But at the same time, Sisodia's team, they're pressing for bail on the grounds that Manish Sisodia's wife is ill and he's the only caretaker. And on these grounds, will the court really grant him bail? That remains to be seen, and every update in court there being tracked by Nalini, who's joining us on that. Nalini, a quick word. As I see here, the CBI almost arguing that if Manish Sisodia is let off and if we are not given custody, it's going to be very difficult for us to investigate the matter. He may be in power to tamper with evidence. That's more or less their line of argument, but at the same time, Manish Sisodia seems to have a strong case. His wife is ill, and that could be considered before court. And they're also sort of referring to Vijay Nair being given bail in the same case, so why not Sisodia?
Yes, absolutely, Nabila. But remember, Vijay Nair also had to spend certain amount of time in CBI custody before he was granted bail in this entire case. And at the same time, another thing we need to remember is that this might just be the starting point of the trouble for Manish Sisodia, because even if things work out in his favor and he somehow manages to, if not today, eventually get bail from the special CBI court, there is also the Enforcement Directorate that is also investigating this entire case, which has very strong likelihood of jumping in and seeking Manish Sisodia's custody as soon as either he is released on bail or sent to judicial custody. Of course, we are not speculating at that point anytime soon, but at the same time, this could be a possibility that trouble might be mounting even further for Manish Sisodia in the coming days. Because remember, and why I say trouble will be mounting, Nabila, is because in case Enforcement Directorate moves in to arrest him, then he is going to be charged with sections under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, where getting bail is an uphill battle, because the burden of proof under the PMLA then falls on the accused, which will be Manish Sisodia in this case, to prove his innocence to even get bail. But in the CBI case, let's keep it restricted to that for now. He's been charged under Section 7 of the Prevention of Corruption Act, which basically talks about taking illegal gratification except for the salary that you get from the government. So it is this illegal gratification that they are talking about in the excise policy case, saying that it was Manish Sisodia who was responsible for tweaking certain provisions of the entire excise policy in the final draft, so that the excise policy could benefit certain companies and certain businessmen, who then in turn gave kickbacks to the tune of hundreds of crores to the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia specifically. Now, it's the top echelons of the Aam Aadmi Party that are right under the scanner in this entire case, not just Manish Sisodia but also several other leaders. There's a possibility that Satyendra Jain can also be roped in, because he has been questioned with regard to the excise policy scam as well. So it's a big battle that lies ahead, not just for Manish Sisodia but also for the Aam Aadmi Party.
For a moment, here you have big updates coming in while Manish Sisodia's team there trying to argue that Manish Sisodia is being forced to admit to a crime which he hasn't done. Now, I can't be reprimanded for not confessing to a crime. I'm not at fault, but I'm being forced and pushed to admit to something I haven't done. and this can't be the grounds on basis of which I should be arrested.
Well, yes, Nabila, essentially what Manish Sisodia is saying is that he has a right against self-incrimination, which means that the CBI cannot call him for questioning and then ask him to confess about the crimes that he has committed. There is no burden on him to go ahead and confess of any crime that he has done. He is simply required to answer the questions that have been put forth by the CBI. But at the same time, the CBI is saying that Manish Sisodia has not been forthcoming with the answers that they've asked, specifically regarding these certain contentious provisions and how they were brought into the entire excise policy that was under the department that Manish Sisodia himself was heading. What is the CBI relying on to make their case, Nabila? That is the main question. And they are relying on a statement of one excise department official, who has said that Manish Sisodia himself personally was involved in the drafting and the framing of this entire excise policy. In fact, if you look back at the press release that was issued by the CBI just minutes after Manish Sisodia was arrested yesterday, that also talks about irregularities in the drafting and the implementation of the excise policy that was drafted under Manish Sisodia's leadership. So his role in this entire case is extremely crucial, because it was his department that was heading it and everything was signed off by Manish Sisodia himself. So for him to come out and give some direct answers is extremely important at this point for the CBI, which is why they've moved in to arrest him after just 2 times of questioning him, because first he was questioned in October, then again he was called during the budget time when he had expressed his inability to come because he was busy with the budget preparation, and then yesterday again after being questioned for almost 7 to 8 hours, the CBI took him into custody and they have now officially arrested him and produced him before the special CBI court at Rouse Avenue.